Okay, welcome back, guys. So we are still on ENG421, the English language in Nigeria. We'll be taking the next and the final video for this particular subtopic we are taking. So we are going to be looking at differentiating Nigerian English and the Nigerian Pidgin English, as well as in the same video we are going to look at Creoles. So let's see how we are able to combine the two. I just decided to say let me do the two in this way because the slides are short. So what are the differentiation factors? So the present transliteration. Now this is a common feature of the Nigerian English speaker. We see the Nigerian speaker, we have seen many times things that they will tell you that they are peculiarly Nigerian English kind of structures are actually many times they are transliterations, and I've given you the example of what we have with what Chinachibi was able to successfully do with Things Fall Apart, and probably some of his other works. So you have a lot of that now. There's high tendency to transfer study structure from the general language also into the English for communicative purposes. So that for the person that is speaking here, it is the intention to communicate. And what is the use of a language usage if it is not communicating? If you are speaking high sounding words, if you are speaking words that are above the your listeners, so what's the point if you cannot communicate? So this sometimes regarded as error by teachers of English, but may usually be just a communicative strategy that is dictated by the discourse setting. So the discourse setting may be what is determining what you are seeing as error, and I think I mentioned that in one of our previous videos. So now, some differences that are identified. Um, you may go through the papers to identify some of the difference with the SNE and SNPR. I actually found them to be so much. So, but I've put in this link here. When you have the PDF of this, you can click on this particular this thing from my Google Drive that you can use to get some of this. So you find most of often than not that the convenience is the keyword. So convenience is what dictates even differentiation. So this difference you identify, they actually dictated by convenience. So you find that as you go through these two papers, put the links here. So let's look at other way that they actually uh do strategize this. So you have code mixing and code switching as a feature. So sometimes the communication event dictates this. So if you're in an informal environment, the tendency is for you to actually do a lot of code mix. And I've also find that even though it's a strategic communicative issue, and I have done a paper again on that, but of course you can find it on my Google Scholar page, and probably I don't know, my other pages, my scholar pages. You can find it, but I can show you some Google Scholar. Just type my name, my full name, Yabodomola Akewonwaboze, and you can get some of this my papers and my thoughts on some of these things. But what I've seen is that most times, like I mentioned, there's a project work I supervise for undergraduate, and what I found among Igbo speakers is that you don't usually find them code mixing when they're in formal environment, putting the indigenous language in the English they speak, but they do a lot of English inside indigenous languages. So you wonder, is it a psychological thing? Is it a theoretical complex thing? So you can answer for yourself. So we are saying here now that sometimes the communication event dictates this. So the context of use maybe the reason for this. Now many Nigerians also having many linguistic repertoires in their kitty, they also easily move from one language user to another depending on the linguistic situation, depending on the speech environment, depending on what they want to use. So you can have an English professor that's speaking impeccable English in the class, then getting to the home, of course, speaking the indigenous languages, or getting speaking to the mates, or speaking to friends in the university club, in the staff club, and then breaking the Nigerian pidgin. So you begin to wonder. So in that case, this same professor that would prefer present seminar with impeccable English, but will be with the friends, is co-well educated, probably also professors, and will be breaking the Pidgin English like no man's business. So this speech event actually may dictate this. At times maybe want to sound in a particular way may dictate this. So more often than not, um though this mixing could be of English with Indian language to show sophistication or not with the use of English, and I mentioned that as I was talking now. So this is also what I have personally observed. Maybe you need more study to actually determine why do people do so. So maybe you need a perception study. You may take that your final year, you may be interested in doing a study like that. So we discussed this last week. The papers also show the empirical evidence of this effect on communicative and synthetic purposes. So we are giving you the link. You may look at that. This was an extensive thing that we discussed in the class uh, last. So quickly we are going to move to. So quickly we are going to move to Creole. So what are creoles? So let's look at what when you say something is a creole, what are you talking? Now this describe pidgin English or pidgin language that has grown, because I'm saying pidgin language because you have French creole, you have English creole, so they are grown to become the native language of its speakers. So when it becomes accepted as the language of those people, then we say that it is a creole. But I must say this, that there are controversies surrounding the claim. So some people don't believe it is so, while some take it that it is for granted. So it is nice to know that some scholars do not agree with this definition. Some scholars do not think that is the correct definition to call a creole. But you may of course give your opinion, but generally that's what I have always known as the way you describe creole. So historical development. Um, so we're going to talk about historical development concerning Creole. So Creole are believed to be a result of language contact, just like you have in the Pidgin English or the Pidgin of any kind of Pidgin. So it's as a result of language contact. So argument about that the contact between European languages such as English and French led to the growth of Creoles around the equator, around the world. So around around the, you see the islands, the peninsulas, all of that around the, so um, it's believed that all these islands, then of course Africa, which also the equator passed through, around this location you have a lot of creoles developing due to the explorers from the European countries and all of that. Anyway, if people want to say, essentially because you have mostly these small islands around the equator, around the world, so that's why the tendency to look at it that okay, it is around here that you have the creole the most. Now example of creole language, so let's look at it. Some of them, you have the Sierra Leonean Creole. So they actually call theirs Creole, but with a K and all of that. Then there are Tokpisi in Papua Ghana. You have the Caribbean Creoles, of course, which are mostly French in nature. You may also want to give you some examples. So these are some of the examples that you may have. And you may look at this. Of course, if you want to go to the southern part of Nigeria, again, near to the equator, if you want to say the Delta area, you have this belief that the what we normally call worry pigeon these days, it is a kind of creole, because I think we have discussed this in class, and many of you agree that yes, you actually know people that speak this kind of language, and that is their L1, that they don't have any other language apart from this worry pigeon. So it is a language that have moved to the level and the status that you can call a creole. So it not minding whatever people may want to look at it, or scholars may want to say, but when we look at, just we talk about the universal grammar, or the or the mentalistic grammar, and then compared to the actually sociological grammar, where you are actually doing the analysis not based on the projection of what you think the speaker should say, but actually on the actual data of what people said. So what is the reality? And that's the question. So as students of this class, you may want to do this, and that's why these assignments we are looking at it. So we say give a brief discussion on the nature, form, and use of creole in at least one community for any part of the globe. So you are free to look at any part of the globe. You just study it and get back to us. Then critically examine the relationship between creole and pidgin. You may use any Nigerian community as a locale for your discussion. So you are not restricted, but the time for you to assign to submit this assignment, of course, is 9th of January 2025, which is supposed to be our first class in 2025. So you will be given that period to get this ready. So and I'm hoping that we can have that in the class by then, before your exams. We may still have more discussions about this to review what we have learned so far. So hoping to see you by then. So happy new year in advance, guys. Don't forget again to subscribe. Of course, this channel is meant, I mean, you have a lot of things to expect from this channel, so it's educative, and I think if I were you, I would take that advice. So see you guys in the next video.